live once again on the Therapy Hub here. You
What's
don't know.
going on, sir?
Yeah, man, you're here to hear first. You got the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. And I approve this message nationwide with my family right here and PV. We doing that therapy. You don't know. But today, you don't know, man. It is the one and only February, one of the coldest months. But yeah, it is Black History as well. You don't know. Up in Canada here, it is cold. Yeah, no. But yo, how
So,
y'all staying warm for this February here, man?
so yeah, man, and for real, I hope everyone's staying warm for February, and it is Black History Month, and today we are talking a lot about. We're going to talk a lot about Black history, and we're also going to talk about a few other things um, in regards to the regular therapy sessions that we do every week. The reason why we're
hmm
doing it today is because it is the first day of Black History Month, so we want to surprise everybody with a Black History special. So that's why we are here today. But please make sure that you lock in and tune in with us next Thursday and each and every Thursday, and as well as each and every Monday for a solo therapy hub when your boy Daru is not tired by working overnight shifts shoveling snow.
hmm
You heard? But anyways, first topic, Ross. We sent the link out to Bino. I don't know where he's at, but if he's listening, he is more than welcome to tap in and
Yeah.
join. He has the
Oh, you,
link.
you you sent him the link though, right?
I did. I did.
Okay, then. As long as you sent him the link, it's all good. All right,
Yes,
then.
sir. Yes, sir. Taking accountability.
Mm.
Taking accountability as men. I believe this is something that we all go through or that we all experience, right? Um, but it's something that we don't always do.
No,
What is your views on taking accountability, Ross?
my views on accountability is that um some people don't want to be taking the responsibility for their own accountability. They want to find an scapegoat, and it's an easier way because they're so used to running away from their problems. So if they're used to running away from their problems, they're not gonna ever think about taking accountability because they're always gonna thinking either they're right in their own mind, in their own judgment of mind. So like a person like for instance for terminology I would say somebody who thinks the world revolves around them,
Yeah,
right? And that's not a good anarchy of a good attitude,
that's
you
correct.
know.
Because taking accountability also means that you're owning up to things, right? You're owning up to what you did wrong, right? And in life, I think in order to heal from things and in order to move forward from certain things, taking accountability is one of the most essential awareness tools that you can have when you are trying to heal or if you're going through a healing process from
You know
any
what?
type of relationship.
One more thing I wanted to add to that.
Go
Some
ahead.
probably thinking that it's a sign of weakness. So maybe that's why they don't want to show accountability. So they're thinking that, oh, if I show accountability, I'm gonna show that I'm weak.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But to be honest, it shows
Mhm.
that you're strong.
Yes, yes,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
I just wanted to add on to that.
yeah. No, good point. Because accountability means like you're being strong about it. Like you're not, because sometimes it means shame. Sometimes it means guilt, right? Sometimes it means like it's just, you don't want to put yourself in that position. It means it's uncomfortable. But sometimes you have to, in order to also in order for you for people to know you and to be able to trust who you are as an individual and to be like,
Hmm
okay, you know what, yeah, this person made a mistake, but he's taking accountability for the mistakes he's made, right? When somebody does that, my advice is to encourage them, right? Because they're doing what they're doing what many people don't do,
But the
right?
next question is
And
next question is now if they don't take accountability now, right?
mhm.
You know this and they know this. Now what? Can you really have that much respect for them now for that?
No,
Because
because you
you
don't trust
both
them.
know. No,
Yeah,
you both know. It's not like you don't know. You
yeah,
know and they know. So, you know,
yeah. I think too
this
the problem with accountability, Ross, too, with people is that people are they don't they don't want to, like I said, they don't like shame, right? They don't want to feel shame. They don't want to be embarrassed, quote
our
unquote,
humiliation.
are humiliated. Exactly. So they tend to, you know, fall away from or run away from taking accountability or having vulnerability for certain actions or things that they do. But that comes back to bite you in the ass in the long run,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
no doubt.
Because what happens is when you do, because in life, I want the youngings that are out there, if there's any young, you know, young people listening to this right now, I want them to really listen to what I'm saying is in life, you change as you get older. No matter what it is. You know, there may be some things that there may some things, you know, some ways that you may keep and some things that you may be stuck in your ways in certain ways. But for the most part, when you get older, you change. Your attitude changes, right? Because it's your hormones, right?
Yeah.
You tend to calm down more. So when that happens, you tend to think more and you tend to take responsibility for a lot of the actions and a lot of the things that you've done over the years. Okay. And what that does is it matures you, it grows you, right? And if you could do that now as a young person and be able to have that awareness and keep that in the back of your mind, I think that you'll win. And I think that you'll be more advanced than a lot of the people in your generation and people in your older generation and our generation, because you already have that knowledge, right? That was given to you. um Please take accountability, because I'm gonna take accountability right now, and I'm gonna do it on live, right? For instance, I'm having issues right now with my children. Okay, like I have three daughters, and I just found out recently that I have a son that I didn't never knew about, and he's 6 years old. So you can imagine for 5 years, and it's been about 5.5 years. Okay, but from for 5 years, I never knew I had a son. I thought I had daughters the whole time, and I prayed to God and asked God, God, please give me a son, give me a son, give me a son, and I just never got a son. However, now I do have a son. Apparently, we're gonna get to that. But me being a father, I was a father at 18 years old. Okay, I started, very young as a father, and when I began, when at that time, it was a lot easier to kind of survive and to get through the system and that type of thing. So I needed the system. We needed the system. I was young, so I wasn't the quote unquote super dad like I would be now. Like my son, once I get all the paperwork and everything finished with him, I'm gonna be a super dad, right? Because I'm taking accountability and vulnerability for what I was before. I wasn't a deadbeat, okay? Because to me, a deadbeat dad is somebody who doesn't take care of their kids, who doesn't have anything to do with their kids. I was a part of my kids' life since the day they were born, since the day they came out of the hospital. I was there, okay? Until they got into their 20s and so on and so forth, and then they decided to make their own decisions, okay? But I was always there for them. However, I wasn't financially stable. I'll keep it 100. I never made the money. Like I wasn't as successful as I am now then. So that affected me. It affected my relationship, because you know how it is, especially growing up in our community. It's like, you know, you got to have money. And if you don't have money, it's like you're not really providing for your kids. And it's like, and then what makes it even worse is if you don't live with your children, right? Then now it's more of a separation because then they get all the child benefits, they get all, they get everything. The child lives with the mother, and then now
Mm-hmm.
you're a part-time dad. You got to go pick up the child on the weekend and spend, every other weekend with the kids. I never even really got to see my kids every weekend. I had to see them every other weekend. You know what I mean? And then there was times where I couldn't really see them every other weekend because I never drove. I never had a car at that time. I had to take the bus. They lived all the way in Mississauga. That was a pain in the ass to get to Mississauga from where I was at the time, from Toronto. So, but right, hoop-de-doo. That's my responsibility. I had to do what I had to do. However, I'm taking vulnerability and accountability to the fact that, I never tried as hard. But the reason why, because when I did try, I kept getting pushed away. I was controlled when I can see them. I was controlled how I could see them. When there was times when it was my time to see them, I couldn't see them because either her mother would have them or my cousin would have them. Like, and it was like my cousin would never bring the kids to me. She would just take the kids and go spend time with the kids on her own. And quite frankly, that person wasn't even my blood cousin. I grew up with that person because their mother and my mother were best friends. So, but rest in peace, Auntie Cheryl. She passed away. So her daughter was kind of like close. However, she never kept close with me. She just kept close with my kids for some reason. I respect it, but I don't understand why I was pushed away. Because that made things look and seem a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right? So here I am talking about my situation, right? Here I am talking about nobody has took accountability and vulnerability for their actions in any piece of this, because it cannot be all my fault. Like, come on.
Of course not. You know what I mean?
I know some women out there that tell their kids, you know what? I know your dad is, he may have gone to jail and he does, but love your daddy because he loves you.
Could I say something here though? All right. You see what you're saying, all of that? Especially bringing up the recent one here. Like, I know the past is the past. We can't rewind the past, but the recent one here, I'm gonna have to say something here. Now,
yes, my brother.
You just found this out, and yo, you're my brother. I'm all 100% for you, bro. And I'm a little angry.
Ross, fam, you don't know.
I'm a little angry for you too. And you know what I'm angry for you now is that you said what your son is what 6 years old now?
January 17th.
6
How
years
did I know
old, right?
that? He never even told me that. I found that out by the grace of God.
6 years old, right? 6 years old, right?
Yeah.
That means at least about 5 years, right? Five, not one, 5. You gotta say it one more time. 5. All right. That means 5 years has been kept away from you and all of that. So now let's get back to the topic here, what you're saying here about accountability. Now, will there be accountability for 5 years for not saying nothing?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Or our compensation?
Well, whatever.
And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about mental health compensation, like some type of.
Regardless, that's what I'm talking about. Yep. Accountability, saying, besides, I'm sorry, this and that, but like, there's a little bit of explaining to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's for your own, look, the child's a child, yes, we know, that's the child and all of that, but for your inner peace, for your inner whatever, your mental whatever, you need that accountability piece thing there, bro.
Absolutely.
Sorry. You need that because there've been okay. You know why I said it? So wait there. Let me ask you this question. So Monday, now vice versa in a different way. You were the one who you say you're married or something like that, whatever, right? And you kept a child and you knew for so long. How would that be? You know what I mean? Vice. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So they would say, "Yo, you have to take accountability. You're the man, and all this stuff. How come you didn't say this? How come you didn't say that? All this time, this and that. Boom, boom, boom."
That's right.
Well, there ain't no difference if it's a woman doing it.
That's right. Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's
And then
right.
have to make me question a lot of shit
Yeah.
from the time that, like, during that them time that, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't
Yeah.
know
Like
if
you're
you
saying, who's been raising this kid?
I don't
Who?
even know if you were even pawning it as a jacket baby to towards somebody for a little bit.
Somebody else. Somebody else. Yeah. A
Don't
jacket
know
baby.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know them things. The
Yeah.
bottom line is you need to take accountability, girl. That's all I have to say.
That's right. And so you know what I did, right, Ross? I called the lawyer right away. Hopped on the lawyer. The lawyer got me involved. Told me what to do. I went. Tried to apply for legal aid and all that on all this stuff. However, I still got approved because legal aid said I can do it on my own. I don't even need
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So I can go fill out the paper, right, and just give it to them, right?
You
Because this
want to
year
do
I claimed under 30,000 on my taxes this year too. So they, you know what I'm trying to say?
You
I'm
just want
good.
to do everything right. You just want to do
That's right.
everything with it. You want to do everything
That's
right.
right.
I don't want to do no halfway stepping. I don't want, you know what I mean? All that
That's right.
stuff. Because on the real, you're trying to do right and now is your accountability as a father.
Yeah.
But she never gave you that chance over 5 years ago,
That's right.
regardless of your scenario of your situation.
That's right. That's right. And you know, it's my only son. So what do you think I'm gonna do? Yeah, I'm gonna
You
sit
go,
around and scratch my head? Hell no, bro. Once I
hard.
found out about that, I said, "Yo, it's done. I'm
You're
going.
gonna
Like, I'm not letting another woman control me, tell me what to do with my child, take my kids from me, and tell me what to do with my kids. Because you know what? It didn't benefit me. Now that my kids are older, they
so now
disrespect. I can't say they're disrespectful, but they're not. They don't respect the things that
another
I've done for them.
another chance to
So
clean the slate. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Put it this, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. You know what I mean?
I never beat my kids. Nothing. I they always been treated good. My parents took care of them. My family took care of them. They had whatever they needed. You know, the last time I spoke to my daughter, I told you why the last time I spoke to my daughter. 17 years old, I picked her up from some guy's house. So tell me, as a father, anybody out there as a father, if your 17-year-old daughter asks you to pick her up and lied to you when she was supposed to be at your house, and you went and picked her up and she was in a house with boys, a house full of boys, what would you do as a father?
Well, I know. Say first things first. The first instinct is you're going to be upset,
and you're going to go pick her up, right?
You're going. That's expected.
And then when you go pick her up, what is she going to hear? Oh, sweetie, I hope you're okay. No. 17 years old, and you're outside when you're not supposed to be. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if I fell asleep or not. The fact is, you lied and told your mother where you were supposed to be, and you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
And then her mother calls me, tells me to give her shit for it. I give her shit for it, and her mother calls me back and tells me, "Oh, why was I yelling at her?" What do you mean? Why am I yelling at her? Why did you call me about it then?
That's screwed up.
If you didn't want me to yell at her or discipline her, then don't get me involved.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
Point taken there, man.
And it goes back to accountability. This is the problem. And this is why the relationships these days, they don't last. Because nobody takes accountability. Nobody can say, okay, you know what? I was wrong.
Well, you know what?
You know how much a difference that makes?
You know what?
In a conversation or in a relationship?
Yeah, but the sad thing is, one day she's gonna have a child and maybe do the same thing, and then after she gonna really see how it feels.
Right. And ever since that, I haven't spoke to my daughter. Ever since that day, she hasn't talked to me. It's been 4 years. You know how much that hurts me, bro?
And it should, because listen here, you were there as a
I was there
parent,
for her.
a father, and concerned, and you're upset about that.
Man, if these, I tell you something right now. I love my mom to death, but my mom, she put me through some shit too. But I still, my mom knows I'm having my mental health breakdowns. I call her. She doesn't know how to deal with it because I'm just like, you know what, mom, I don't know what to do. Am I living like curses or what? Like, what is this? Like, but then I
About
call her
just
back. You know what, mom, I'm sorry. You know what?
yeah.
You
Bottom
know,
line is letting her know that I need somebody to talk to,
I
and
need someone. I need, yeah,
you're the best person to talk to because
because she don't take accountability either. I'm sorry. This is the problem. This is why we're having this whole quarrel. I'm the only one sitting here, sitting, hey, look, okay, guys, I have this problem. I got mental health issues, yes. I have this problem, yes. I'm going through X, Y, and Z. Why am I having these mental health issues? I just named you all the topics. So why aren't we saying, hey, look, I care about you. I love you, man. You're my fan. I care about your mental health, man. You know, and we're a family. Let's
Mhm.
figure this out as a family. How can we work together as a family? And how can we build our legacy as a family? I can't even remember the last time my mom popped in on me, called me for my birthday. But I don't hold that against my Dukes because right now she doesn't have no transportation and whatever. That's cool. So I try to pop out on her. But when I can't do it at a certain time because her boyfriend, this, and he doesn't like people home, and he's another story. I never
No need.
talked to my mom. I told you the story. I never talked to my mom for 4 years. I know, sorry, 4 months. It was like 4 months. I never talked to her, never seen her. I went to the door. Oh no, it was almost a year actually. I'm not gonna lie. It was like a full year, probably. I never seen her. I just said, yo, let me go check up on my dukes. I went and go check up on my dukes. It was a problem. I didn't call and this and that, and I woke up. I woke him up for work and big fight. Me and him all like I called him out. I called him outside and everything because I was like, yo, my mom was wearing a diaper.
Oh, boy.
And I said, Mom, like, because she's getting older, right? And I say, Yo, Dukes, like, are you okay? Like, why? Oh, she's getting old. What do you expect? I said, What do you mean? What do I expect? I'm just asking a question. I haven't seen my mom in so long. I see her wearing a diaper. I'm her son. I'm gonna ask her why she's wearing a diaper.
I'll just be asking him, well, straight up good. Like, if you put yourself in my position and you're checking your mom's and,
He doesn't have a
that,
mom. His mom and dad died when he was a kid. So that's why he does
oh,
that to us. He
okay.
never had a parents. So he's like, so he pushes us. So, bro, anyways, that's a whole
No,
nother
that,
story. That's
no,
for
but that,
therapy right there. That's
yeah,
for
no,
like a
but
real therapy session.
that makes, I just want to say something on that
Doesn't
note,
bother
though.
me anymore though because I just laugh now. It's just like
Doesn't
whatever.
bother me, but the thing is, just because I'd say it like this because of a scenario with me, but just because it's not
It
your mom,
bothers me, but
just because it's
I
not
can't.
your mom, doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Just because it's not your mom, it's my mom, right?
yeah,
Doesn't mean I have to be thinking how you think. You know what I'm saying? Because my
right.
relationship, my mom is different between whatever situation or scenario you went through. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry what you've gone through, but
Hmm.
this is my mom I got to deal with. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
respect. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I'm
you're
just
right.
being a man like that, straight up. I wouldn't care who you are. You know what I mean? I would tell them straight up like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, see,
real shit.
right. I can't, and I came to the point where it's like, yo, I'm not gonna do this guy no nothing because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mom wouldn't want that. So
No, 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 no. There's
I'm
nothing like that. It's
right. I
just,
have to
it's
allow him.
no, no.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just a factor. It's just
But
a
it's the
factor.
factor, exactly.
Oh, it's just a factor. That's it. That's all I have to say. Because every time people be thinking in their own mind and frame of their own world supposed to revolve around them. But
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile, you forget that you live in a whole world of everybody here. You know, different entities, different mindsets, and all of that. You have
I
to
say that all the
consider.
time.
You have to consider. You have to like see. This is the thing. What is missing with human beings nowadays?
Yeah.
The the simple how should I say instinct of common sense. You get what I'm saying? It's just common sense.
Absolutely.
It's just common sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just common sense. It's no other way of it. It's just common sense. You
Absolutely.
know,
Absolutely.
anybody will be concerned about their parent, regardless of the age.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And
And
like
vice
I said,
versa. And any parent will be about their child, regardless of the age. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for me, it's like my daughters are 23 years old. My oldest is 23. She's gonna be 24, 22, 18, and now I have a son. Okay. My oldest kids, they to me, they're still my babies, bro.
will
They
always
don't
be.
they don't realize that. Oh, they think they're grown, but they're still my babies, regardless how mad they are at me or whatever, and how mad I've said some things to them as well,
Mm,
that I can't take accountability, that you know I shouldn't have. Like, my daughter was acting like a bitch one day, and I said, "You're acting like a bitch. Like, the way you're acting, like, you're not making me see my granddaughter. Like, who does
mm,
that?
mm,
Like, you're choosing when I can see my granddaughter because you have an issue with me. So that's how a bitch moves. You're 23 years old. You're a woman. I'm gonna tell you straight up. You're being a bitch. Oh, you call me a bitch? Posts on her Instagram page, on her story. My dad. What kind of father does that? Calls their daughter. Well, you know what? I'm that kind of dad, I guess. I'm keeping it real.
mm.
I'm not gonna be faking the funk with you kids no more, because your whole entire life I did. I did. I never told you guys about my life. You guys never knew. All you guys knew about is me and my past of me going into jail. And once again, taking accountability. I always was honest with my children. Dad, where are you? I want to see you. This and that. How come I want to see you? I'm like, I can't see you right now. You know what I mean? Right now, you know. And then finally, I had to break it down to them where I was, because they were at the age where I think they would understand, but they
Mm,
use it against me. You know
mm,
what I mean? And I get it. My kids never grew up in the streets. They grew up in a little housing complex in Mississauga. But that's, to
yeah,
me, it's like that's the suburbs to me. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, like, a lot of you don't understand the real struggle out there, because, like, I grew up in the real struggle. Like, my house was a trap house at a point of
Yeah.
a time. Okay, so these kids couldn't tell me about anything. That I never put them through that experience. They could never ever say that they lived in a trap house ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, just little things like that is what makes me say, okay, you know what? I realized one thing: I can't control how people feel. There's a post that I put out there, right? And I want everybody to take this. I know I may sound a little frustrated, but I'm getting it out, right? This is what Therapy Hub's about. Okay, so I realized something, and this is what I realized. You can't control people, how they feel about you. You can't control how they think about you. You can't control what they say about you, because whatever they say, whatever they feel about you is based on how you made them feel at a point of a time.
That's
You may have
right.
got them angry, you may have got them upset, you may have gotten to a disagreement, but that's only based on because you made them feel that way.
Now,
But
can I ask you a question?
that's
Is
not
it
how
like,
yes, but hold on one second. That's not who you are.
no,
You are
can I,
not the
yeah,
person who made them feel that way.
yeah,
Okay? Go ahead.
yeah. Well, like I was saying, like you can't control how people feel and all of that and everything.
Oh.
So, um, should you apologize for something what has nothing to do with you,
Mhm,
but you know the people, right? Right? You know the parties,
mhm,
but it has nothing to do with you, but
right.
it's amongst the parties.
Okay.
So now, should you be apologizing for what they're going on with
Are you
because
a
you just
part of are you a part of that party?
no, you just know them.
Okay,
You know
then no. No, I don't think so.
what I'm just saying. Should you be apologizing for something what has nothing to do with you?
No. No.
Okay, I
It's
just
different
want
if
to
you're apologizing on the behalf of, like, if you're, if
no,
you're
but
amongst them, you're like, you know what, I apologize on the behalf of my,
you can't
my
control what
team.
people do.
That's
Let's fix that.
different.
You can't control
Right.
what people do, and they do what they do on their reconnaissance, right?
Right.
And it has
Right.
nothing to do with you, but but you're being told you should be apologizing. Not now. Does that make sense to you?
It doesn't. No.
Oh,
Doesn't
okay,
make
I just for that. Thank you.
it doesn't make no sense at all.
Thank
It sounds really stupid. And this is what we deal with every day, stupidity. And this, hey, listen, our therapy and our mental health will get a lot better, people, if we start labeling things as stupidity, because there are some things that just don't make sense. They don't add up.
you.
But what we do is we take them and because it looks good. The surface of it may look good, but then when you finish the multiplication, it doesn't add up,
You're damn right.
right? So what's the point, man?
Mhm.
Anyways, let's move on. Self
Yes.
therapy.
Let's move
Ross,
on. Let's move
what
on.
have you been doing with yourself for self therapy? I'll tell you what I've been doing. And we're gonna give everybody some homework, and we're gonna give ourselves some homework, Ross, because we're gonna have
Well,
a self therapy task once a week.
well, I would say this: where everyone is different, of course. I would say either find your passion or your hobby. You know what I'm saying? Because that helps out with your self therapy. You get what I'm
Yes,
saying? And
yes.
make it make it a routine, especially if it's something you're passionate about. You know what I mean? And make sure you follow it, then focus upon it. Because why? The reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people like to interfere with somebody's happiness and all of that. So make sure that you're happy on what you're doing, what is passionate for you. It could be anything, being creative or whatnot. But
Keep going, keep going.
some people might look at it as is, oh, it's not their passion and all that, and you're wasting your time and all that and everything. Listen here, you're never wasting your time if you're passionate about something, and especially if you're creative about it. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Just keep up on what you want to do, either a passion, a hobby, or even a sport or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But if somebody else doesn't like it or whatnot, then hey, screw them. But if you have people who are support you or with you with it and all of that, that's even better because they'll be helping with your therapy of your hobby. You know what I mean? Straight up. That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? So always keep up doing something and keep your mind busy because other people are always trying to keep your mind in their world of whatever problems they have. You get what I'm saying? They don't know what you're going through and shit like that. So you might as well be doing what you got to do for your sanity.
What do you do? What do you do? What are your self therapy hobbies? What are things that you do, or
Well, you
whatever?
know, I would have to say I've gone through many things. You know,
Mhm.
I would have to say starting from a young youth, art. Art was the first thing before I actually got into other things. You know what I'm saying? I actually love to draw. You know what I mean? I love to see certain things and put it in my own creativity and just draw, draw, draw. And then after from there, it just went from to music production and all of that, and then everything. And then after from there, it went to video production and everything. So my therapy is being creative in a technical way of doing creativity on doing a creation of something what is meaning.
Yeah, because you're a content creator and you're an artist.
So it started from a young age until now,
Mhm.
and I can't stop. You know what I mean. It's part of my therapy. You know what I mean. I feel to create. I feel to do more and more, and it's like this. Any artist, I don't care what artist. You could be a baker, you could be a drawer, you could be whoever, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? But everybody comes to their life when they're being creating so much. Okay, I have to make my masterpiece. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
masterpiece, the masterpiece is like you're your own competition. You've done this piece, you did this piece, you did piece. You know, people are like, wow, I love it, but you're not pleased with it yet. You're like, nah, I know I could do better. I know I could do better. And once you get to that level and you make that masterpiece, now you have more stress because you're gonna try to master the masterpiece. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? So that
Yeah,
means you're mastering your own creativity. MOC. Master your own creativity.
talked about this
And
on one of our lives.
I mean,
Remember
once you
that?
master your own creativity, it's like, like Dragon Ball Z. You
Yeah,
get to like certain levels of your creativity, like the level of the warrior. You're doing the training. You're doing the training because you keep in practice. You get what I'm
mhm,
saying?
yeah,
You keep in thorough with it and keep in focus. And more
yeah.
you practice, the more you're doing it. Yes, this is good, but it's not my masterpiece yet. Once you get to that masterpiece, you put in all. You know what I mean? Everything, all the knowledge you learned from everything else you ever
Yeah,
created.
most def.
You know what I'm saying? And now everybody's be like, yo, I seen shit you made before, but they be like, wow. You know what I'm saying? And
Anything that
I'm
you've
talking,
drawn before? Because I didn't know that you actually drew. Didn't know that you
yeah.
were an artist. I
And
think
the
you
thing is,
mentioned it, but
because of that, I gave my son my artist book, and ever since he's seen that and he finished it, he hasn't stopped drawing. Yeah,
yeah,
he's at Dragon Ball Z, like the Mega Saiyan level now. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I stopped at a certain level, but he hasn't stopped. He's just going. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, look, I told him
you passed the baton. You
I,
passed the
I
baton
told
and
him
gave.
one, I told him one thing. The greatest mistake I ever did on regret was putting down the pencil, putting down the pen. Don't ever put it down. I go. From what I seen, from the levels he went to, from what it took me, he bounced more faster than I ever have. So that's why I'm telling him, don't ever put down that pencil, because more you go into it, you're gonna amaze yourself. And he's amazing himself. He's amazing me, man. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn. Everybody I ever showed the art to, they're like, whoa, yeah. My son's doing that. Yep, yep. It's in the DNA. I go because his mom can't pick up a pen for nothing. Okay, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I know it's from me, definitely from me. You know what I mean? So at least I know my DNA of creativity is
yeah.
gone. And I not only that, it's even for my nephew too, because my brother's son, he's doing like he's trying to get into like video game design and shit like
Mhm.
that. So you know what I mean? So like, yeah, man, the creativity of the levels is gone in the DNA, because even one of my sisters, she does acting and shit and all of that and everything. She does commercials and shit
Right.
like that. You know what I mean? It's in the DNA, no matter what. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. And regardless if it's in the DNA, someone in your family or somebody has some creativity. You know what I mean? Everybody has some kind of talent in their family. It's all about you picking it up if you have the interest of picking it up. You know what I mean? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be art. It could be like,
Mhm.
maybe some of the family members are good mechanics. Maybe they're good chefs. You
Yeah.
get what I'm trying to say? It
Yeah.
depends. You know what I mean? What what somewhere in that family they really specialize in. And once you see that one who really specializes and you're a young age, maybe you should pay attention to that one a little more and be more inspired and learn more. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, because yo, the others might not teach you nothing what you might not want to pick up. You know what I'm saying? But that one family member who you seen and they might think, oh, no, but yo, pay attention to that family. You could learn a lot from. You know what I'm saying? A lot, especially if it's something that you could take up on and what you're doing. You know what I mean? And they know the knowledge of it. Yo, man, there's no better than anybody to teach you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're absolutely right, brother. You're absolutely right. And this is why self therapy is very, very, very important, because you can learn from others, and whatever you learn, you can apply it, and you can apply it to yourself. For
And
me,
when you apply it to yourself, one, I have to say this: once you master, knowledge needs to be shared, but only to the right apprentice. You get me what I'm saying?
I
Knowledge,
get you, I get
it
you.
should not be shared to all, because some
For
will
self,
take that
for,
knowledge and use it against you.
absolutely. But for self therapy, it could be, anything. Like for me, I use for my self therapy. What I do is I use um, I like to read.
That's good.
When I get up in the morning, the first thing I like to do is I burn my sage. And a lot of, listen, men, women do this a lot, eh? And I'll tell you this. One thing I give women, they're the ultimate masters of therapy and the spiritual connections. Okay. And they know how to really because they deal with a lot of stress, okay, and pain and things like that. So they have to be able to meditate and use sage and I'm telling you, for men, if we learn to use sage and burn incense and get up in the morning and do a little prayer, have a little sanctuary in your home. So I have like a little sanctuary, Ross, you come to my right. In my sanctuary, there's my Bible. I have my sage, my incense, and I get up in the morning and I pray. Because the mornings for me are very, very difficult. Like I get up in the mornings, and I think that's when my mental health and my depression really hits me, because I realize, okay, I'm alone, right? And I gotta, start another day and do this all by myself. So that's when it kind of like it hits me. But then as soon as I get into my meditation, I kind of like, you know, open my Bible, light my incense, burn my sage. I kind of feel like the bad energy just.
You see what you said right there? That's another thing. I love it what you said right there. Okay?
Yeah,
You see, I brought up earlier about have a hobby and everything like that. Yes, that's
yeah,
true. That's good too. That's good too. But another thing, what is good is to have your own inner peace, as in find it in
a
your own
sanctuary.
way, as in
Yeah,
either um uh, um
we need a
meditate,
temple.
either
Yes,
meditation or
yeah,
prayer, or some kind of, put it this way, you need your own inner peace without no other interference of frequency interfering. And you need that time just for, like, some people might need a little longer, but some might need a little less. But the bottom line is it's good to have it per day. Like, you know how some, like the Muslims, they'll have their time of prayer or something like that per day.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm, something like that. That's what I'm trying to say. With anybody, I don't care what creed or whatnot, what you are. The bottom line is you have a lot of stress and everything going on and thinking and everything going on every day through your mind. You need a time for yourself, even if for a few minutes or so, just to like not think about anything and
Unwind.
unwind and
Yeah,
just reflect on your own life
that's right.
and with the creator and with your own life, because that's your covenant. You know what I mean? There's nobody else.
Reach it, Ross. Reach it.
There's, there's nobody else. It's
Yes,
just
sir.
you, the creator. You were born alone, and I'm sorry to say, you will die alone. So that means the creator is the only one who knows what you're going with your soul.
That's right.
You should have that time. And I do that every day. I like to show blessings from the morning and then the night. Because why? I get up and I go to sleep. And you're not guaranteed to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Remember that. Life's never guaranteed. So that's why I always have to show blessings to the mighty is high for everything. You know what I mean? Down to having taste, having sight, having hearing, having smell. The simplest little things you should have the most lessons for, because it could be taken away in an instant. You know what I'm saying? And once it's taken away, you know how frustrating you would be? Because you were so used to it. You were so used to it since you were born. You were so used to walking. You were so used to having fingers and all. Imagine if you lost your arm one day. Imagine if you lost your eye one day. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish bad upon anybody. But the thing is, I have it. And regardless of I have them, I still show thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Because I look upon the ones I don't mean to, but when you see them, like say someone in a wheelchair, remember, they're going to look upon you and they'll be like, I wish I can walk. You know what I'm saying? And the one who's walking, you see the one with the bike, they wish I have a bike. The one with the bike, they wish they had the car. The one with the car, they wish they had an ocean liner or something like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? But we always want more. But the thing is, the bottom line is why I'm saying all of this, we always want more, is that, yes, we want more, but appreciate what you have, what you got. You know
appreciate
what I'm
what
saying?
you have, and have something, and make sure you take care of yourself. Give yourself some time, people, to actually, you know, have some time for yourself. Give yourself some time to heal. If you're going through something, if it's, you know, a relationship battle, if it's a spiritual battle, whatever it is, give yourself some time to heal. Hold on 1 second. Give yourself some time to heal, right? The other thing I wanted to mention is that self-therapy doesn't always have to be, like you said, a hobby. It doesn't have to be anything of it. All it has to do is something that's going to make you feel better. So even if it's watching a certain television show, right, at a certain time, or having a routine, you know, I know for me, getting up in the morning and like making breakfast, right, because I used to have a bad habit of not eating well. I had a bad, you know, as men, when we go through mental health, our sleeping and eating habits are the worst. So I had to actually put a routine in place where I get up and I eat. I didn't eat actually this morning, so I'm not practicing what I'm preaching today. However, I know, you know, I do have some dinner on the pot that I'm cooking, making a beef stew. So I'm starting early, so that's why I didn't really cook any breakfast. But these things make me feel better. Cooking, I love cooking. That I got from prison. That was something that I learned from prison, and when I got out, I applied it on the outside, and it's been amazing. So to those inside that are, you know, coming out, if, you know, there's anything that you have done inside, cleaning, right? I used to be a cleaner as well, and now I have a cleaning company, right? So these things are valuable. Make sure you use your self-therapy, you take what you need, and or whatever you love and enjoy to do, and you apply it. It will help you. Anyways, carry on, Ross.
Well, ones them who are your family or friends, and if they know you're going through something, right? You should understand, especially if you're going, like, you're doing your own therapy, you know what I mean? Like, right now I don't feel like talking to anybody, or I'm just going through whatever, you know. You should understand what you're going through, especially if they really know you know, because they know you as in, like, It doesn't normally go on like doesn't normally go on like this yet. But the reason is because of, but at the same time, allow me to go through my own mental therapy, whatever, stress and all of that, because you might trigger something that you don't want to. You know what I mean? Because they're especially if they're letting you know. If you don't know, that it's a difference. There's a difference if you don't know. They don't say nothing to you or nothing. They're gonna try to figure out what is happening. You know what I mean? But if you
Mhm.
let them, they should understand. You know what I mean? Instead of not understanding. You know, that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? At least let them know I'm here for you for support. You get me?
Mhm.
Because if you, at least if they know that, at least they feel a little better. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what I have to say there. Right there. Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Good advice. Good advice from the Ross. You know what I mean? Because and this is it, man. We gotta listen to each other, bro. Right? You gotta take time, listen to each other.
Communication,
Yes.
communication is the key because a lot of people take communication and miscommunication, and I hate it when it's miscommunication because meanwhile they go, "That's not what I really meant. That's not what I said," but meanwhile they're thinking something else.
That's right.
Right? So
That's
don't
right.
be quick to judge people. That's another thing. Never be quick to judge. At least learn, listen, in you know, indulge. You know what I mean? What the person is trying to say. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
might not be able to put in certain terms of whatever, but at least try to understand because they might be going through something and they're trying to put it in words, but they can't put it in the words because they're going through so much emotional, you know,
Yeah.
feelings and all of that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the way you look upon it, straight
Yes,
up.
sir.
Yes.
Black
hmm
History Month.
Black History Month. We're in February,
What are
people.
you doing for Black
February
History
is
Month?
Black
Are you doing
History.
any events for Black History Month that you want to promote?
Nothing at the moment. I wish, you know what I mean. To be honest with you, like we should be having a lot more of like themed Black events. Like to be honest, we should have something like I don't know, like a conference or something like a museum kind of thing. Like like not like a museum. It's like awareness kind of thing. Like like a okay, you see this information about black heroes, black inventors,
Hmm.
what are not really talked about. That's what you know what I mean.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
Mm.
maybe we should do
Invent.
that for you know what we're gonna do for the next few episodes or the few next few lives that we do. We're gonna talk about um, we're gonna talk about black inventors, black businesses. Right now, Red Lobster is black owned. I don't know if anybody knows that. So congratulations to Red Lobsters. I don't know if you have the our sound effects there, but
It's good.
congratulations to Red Lobster. They are officially black owned, and so I think the goal for our community is to kind of not to take over, but our goal is to have access to a lot of the things that we never had access to, or to have own
The thing is,
things
back in the
and
day,
build businesses that we can never build. Like for instance, like black banks, right? That would be the next big thing I think would be good because a black bank would be able to fund black businesses, give out loans, and that type of thing for to help black entrepreneurs. So those are little ideas that I have for, but for the most part, we are the inventors and curators of many, 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 many things, many projects, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna dig deep. I'm gonna really research and dig deep inside, and maybe even do a documentary in the future about this. And because it's really good knowledge.
exactly it is. And anybody, if you want us to talk about any black inventors or heroes and all that, please
Yeah,
DM us and we'll look it up and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
you're
yeah.
interested,
Sure.
you
Send
know
us
what I
something.
mean?
Yeah, we'd love to hear
Name of
some things that we don't know about.
Exactly, because there's a lot of information that what was buried. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like for
exactly.
instance, I don't know the lady's name at the moment, but for a good example, Rosa Parks wasn't the first one um sitting in front of the bus. There was another lady before her. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I mean. There's a lot of things, and like for instance, too, like I
That
want to get
that's
into
exact.
yeah, yeah, I want to get into slavery in Canada, what we spoke
Oh
about
yeah,
as well,
Underground
and
Railroad.
right.
Remember?
But the Underground Railroad was this. It was something that's like you said. That's a typical story that we know that where the Americans used to get to Canada, and they settled in Nova Scotia.
Yes.
But that's why if you a lot of people don't know about this. If you hear the Nova Scotians and how they speak, they
I'm
sound
like
Southern.
American.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
sound
Southern.
Southern
Yes.
American, like Alabama, Kentucky-ish.
Trust me, and 2 years ago, I went to Alabama, and I
Hmm.
had a few exes who were novies, right?
Yeah.
And that's what exactly what I heard through my ear with them.
Yep.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
They're ancestors from slavery.
Yeah,
Absolutely. They're from definitely are the ancestors, the runaway ancestors of slavery.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
where the Nova
Right,
Scotians come from.
straight
Absolutely.
up,
Yep.
man.
And black bondage, 1867, Canada was made up of colonies. A lot of things we don't know. Okay. 1867, Canada was made up of colonies. There was like, I think it was like, how many? There was the British rule, the French rule, the Spanish rule, and the Portuguese rule, and the Dutch. Okay, so those colonies were made up of, and they ruled it during the time. I think after the British and French ruling, the settlement. Okay, so 1867. That's how far we're going back as far as slavery. But what they said is that um, because each of these, I wrote it down here, each of them, they all were entitled a different practice of slavery. So the slavery that they did wasn't all the slavery that they did or they done wasn't the same. Some, they were, I guess they had different departments of slavery. And this is what I want to get into, because I want to know what kind of departments of slavery, or what did you have, and who was involved, and which one of these individuals were involved.
Mm.
So the different practice of slavery, they had all five of those colonies had different practices of slavery. But they said the amount of slavery in Canada was lower compared to America, South America, and the Caribbean.
This was
Which
the
which what we
because
don't know about is Caribbean people too, that we were slaved on our own islands. That's why we were left there.
here was the safe haven. That's the reason why. Because the War of 1812, right? That was not only because of slavery, it was because of America wanted to invade here. Okay,
Hmm.
1812. If
Hmm.
anyone doesn't know, that's
Say
the
that.
second White House. That was the second White House. We
Right,
burnt the first one. We burnt
right,
it
right.
down. All right, because when they tried to counter react it again, it was more than one time they tried to invade here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But that one time, I think in 1812, they counter reacted and went to America. Because they came here, and then after, let's get them, go into their land, and they said, fuck it, we're gonna burn down their White House, and we're gonna learn. Don't be coming down here anymore. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Straight
yeah,
up. Yeah.
yeah,
So since then, no invasion here. You know what I
yeah. Most deaf. Man,
mean?
and you see what's going on now with the ICE and everything else with the Civil War in America.
2 days.
So it's like people are starting to be like, people are starting to know, right? Um, we're starting to find out more and more and more about what's going on and what really truly happened. Now, I used to have this, and I want to apologize to everybody. I think it was the Marlon Palmer episode where I said, yeah, why are we so, bitter and this and that, and I want to take back those words and what I mean by why we're so bitter, because I had to look back at that live, and I was like, "What the hell was I talking about?" Because like we are bitter for a reason, right? Now, I was right about when I was saying we do need to take these situations and heal from them and be proud of what we started as a culture. Because we're going to talk about the things that we get into, like our inventions, what we started, sports, everything, music. We have a lot of influence in the world. Okay, and we need to be proud of those things. But
Down to hockey.
even down to hockey, where there wasn't black players in any sports, especially hockey. Now you see black players in them. So, we have come a long way. However, it's trauma. We are traumatized because, and I don't think we're meaning to do it. I think we are trying to move on, but genetically, it's like it bothers us, right? So I get it. That's why we need to come together, Black people.
Well, we need to come together, but at the same time,
battling one another and fighting one another. If you can battle somebody for the sake of friendship and for of an entertainment, that's fine.
But it comes down
to war and everybody I just listen to a lot of things online, and I think to myself, I said, boy, I'm shocked.
But when it comes to these,
nothing happened to any of these people, bro.
But the thing is, when it comes to these, what we were saying earlier,
is ridiculous, huh?
When it comes to these youths, what we were saying earlier, you see now, the thing is, if they don't know their history, they're damned to repeat it, but they're damned to repeat it in the evolution way. You get me?
Right.
Things have to change. It's just evolutionized. You get what I'm saying? But if they don't know their past and understand it, they're gonna keep on repeating it. You get me?
Yes.
So that's the problem.
Yeah, and the lack of knowledge. Absolutely.
The lack of knowledge. Like I'm not saying it's the full solution, but I'm just saying the thing is that if there was more awareness from the time that, let's just say, like, our people when they were young, a lot of the youths when they were young, and not only inbred of what the constitution of the school system is hired to only tell them. You get what I'm saying? Instead of who they are as well.
Whatever's you know what I mean? Or whatever that's in their modules.
If they know more of history, you know what I mean, at a younger age, right? Maybe there would be a less of killing and this and that, because they'll be having, that's my brother, that's my sister, you know what I'm saying? Because they know a little bit more of their history, because they already tried to divide and conquer, and they're trying to do it again in a different way.
Exactly.
Right? That's the way I look at it. So if more inclined and more aware of where we're from and what we know, and as our history with our ancestors and all of that, what they've gone and fought for, then we'll have more pride, more, more gratitude, of more being proud. You know what I'm saying? And say, we don't need to kill one another. We need to help one another. You get me?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this this book here. Policing Black Lives. I'm gonna share it with everybody because this book here is like is an ultimate book. I have it here right behind me. I've been reading it. I got a lot of books, but this book is kind of like it talks about slavery in Canada, Black slavery in Canada.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. You can see it, right? We're going to play this.
Policing Black Lives. State Violence in Canada from Slavery to the Present by Robin Maynard. Read for you by Marcia Johnson. This is a Speak Audio Editions book. Preface on State Violence and Black Lives. African Canadians have always been in a relationship of social subordination in dealing with the state. It is irrelevant whether the relationship is with the government, the judicial system, the education or social welfare systems, or any other state-controlled or state-influenced institution. Carty. Before this book was a cohesive idea, it was germinating in my mind for years. I've spent much of the last decade doing paid and unpaid outreach, advocacy, and organizing work with marginalized and criminalized people. Working with racialized youth in state care and in street-based economies, as well as with adult street-based sex workers, I have been constantly and painfully aware of the gross racial and economic injustices at the fault lines of Canadian society. Though I have not worked exclusively with Black communities, I've regularly witnessed enormous and disproportionate levels of what can only be called state-sanctioned violence and concerted neglect of Black people. I remember speaking with a Black teenager who was being regularly followed and harassed by a police officer on his way home from school. The officer would call his name, sometimes search him for drugs, which were never found, and intimidate and humiliate him. He suffered this abuse largely in silence, as he did not want his parents to be disappointed in him. Another notable memory is the experience shared with me by a Black transgender woman in her 50s or 60s who had fled violence in her country of origin and did not have Canadian citizenship. To support several family members, she worked as a sex worker. She was frequently harassed and sometimes threatened by the police, who would call her nigger and tranny while she was working. Because she was afraid of being arrested, deported, and separated from her family, she soon began to try to avoid the police by working on streets and alleys in extremely isolated, unlit areas instead of bars frequented by her clients, friends, and community. In effect, sacrificing physical safety out of fear of arrest. In addition, I have witnessed the often hostile treatment and heightened surveillance that Black women receive at the hands of their social workers, the suffering felt by both youth and their families when Black children are seized by child welfare, and the shame that many Black youth are made to feel by teachers in their schools just because they are Black. The past few years that I have spent writing this book, I've found myself organizing and attending far too many vigils and marches on the subject of Black death. Bonnie Jean-Pierre, an unarmed Haitian man in his 40s, was killed in Montreal North, shot multiple times with rubber bullets at close range. His death occurred in the context of a drug raid that uncovered cannabis, a substance on the brink of legalization and smoked openly by white citizens across the city, as well as 2 rocks of crack and assorted paraphernalia. Later that same year, the police in Ottawa beat to death Abdurrahman Abdi, an unarmed Black Somali man living with mental health issues. They had been called in because he was allegedly harassing customers at a coffee shop. However, witnesses saw the police subject him to repeated blows to the face and neck, kneel on his head, and then leave him unconscious in a pool of his own blood, handcuffed without medical attention. He died a few days later in the hospital. Further, highly publicized police killings in the United States in recent years, including the police murders of Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Corinne Gaines, and hundreds of other Black men and women, have served as all too frequent reminders of both how little value is placed on Black life and the seemingly limitless level of hostility directed at Black individuals and communities. In combing through the world of research for something.
Yo, isn't that crazy?
It is.
Shit. So anyways, this book here, I'm going to get it right here.
Could I play devil's advocate a bit?
Just 1 second. I just want to mention something for a sec. This book right here, okay? That's what we were reading. we were listening to. Okay, so I got this book from my professor at Centennial College. She lent this book to me because I was researching, right? And I think I ran into her, or she messaged me, or we reconnected somehow later on after. And she was like, "Hey, you got my book?" And I was like, "I can't find it," because I was moving at the time. So, Professor Sharon, here's my book. Here's your book, Policing Black Lives. If you're watching my stream, or perhaps find and stumble upon my stream, give me a shout and come back and get your book. But I love this book. I would love to keep it. I'll even buy it from you if I can keep it. But if not, you can get it. You can give it back because I know other students need it. All right. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say. Be the devil's advocate, sir. Just don't be the devil.
No, you know me. I'm always trying to do both sides of the sword.
Yeah.
So I was listening, and you know, the black tranny, whatever he was saying, and then working as a, you know, uh, one of them workers, right?
Right.
Well, first thing of all, you're a tranny, right? And of course, you're gonna be scrutinized for that. First of all, right? Second
Right.
thing of all, now you're doing, you know, prostitute, like, you know what I mean? I could understand if you're working like a honest job and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a little different, but you have to expect all of that stigma if you're being a worker like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you have to expect.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's going to be people's opinions to that, but I
You're
think
gonna have to
the
from
whole
society.
thing around it is based on this racism and
No, I'm just you have to
versus
have
what
to,
they're doing.
you have to expect that from society, though.
You know what I mean?
You know
But
what I mean?
yeah.
I'm just being
There's a
a
lot of
realist.
this book is crazy, bro. I think um Robin, I don't know if she's a part of, let me see. She could be a part of Black Lives Matter. Let me see who she is. Um, you know, Black Lives Matter. They have a lot of that. They have that community involved. Um, like I mean, I have nothing wrong with that community. Nothing,
No,
nothing wrong with them. I don't label or judge anybody. Right? I kind of, you know, everybody does their own thing. Um, what I believe in is whatever you do, as long as it doesn't affect others and it doesn't affect the community, then I can't say anything about it. Once you're not affecting, you know, my family, me, my community, other people. But then if you are doing those things, then you're a public safety concern, right? So that's the issue that we have, or that I have. Who am I trying to? Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, she's okay. So she's a Canadian writer. This is her right here. I want to put. Can you guys see it on my phone? That's her. So she is a Robin Maynard is a Canadian writer focusing on race and gender-based state violence. So that's why that goes to answer your question there. She is most noted for her 2017 book, Policing Black Lives, State Violence in Canada from Slavery to the Slavery to the Present, which has received praise in some Canadian publications and achieved several awards and nominations. Alongside Leanne Betasimoki Simpson, Maynard has also co-authored the 2022 book Rehearsals for Living, which was shortlisted in the 2022 Governor General's Award. She has also produced scholarly publications on the topic of race in police abolition. In 2020, she was shortlisted from the Dane Ogilvy Prize for Emerging LGBTQ Writers. All right. So that's who she is. She's a Canadian writer focusing on race and gender-based state violence. Great book. Listen, I just urge any Black Canadian or any Canadian, doesn't matter what race you are, to read this book, because this will give you a better understanding and a little bit of knowledge on the background of Canadian slavery and history on governing lives and things like that in Canadian history. All right? Listen, we're going to wrap it up, bro. We've been here for a minute 15. It's been a wonderful Sunday. Before we go, we're going to let Ross introduce our sponsors to you. Ross, let them know who our sponsors be.
All right. Well, as usual, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. We all about to win here. You don't know, but we all have to pay the bills. You know what I mean? So, yo, Sultan Jewelers, we buy and sell gold. Come and visit at 1408 Gerrard Street East in Little India, Toronto. You done know. The main sponsor, Lost X Found by Shop X. Are you between the ages of the 12 to 29 in East Scarborough and need safe haven for tutoring, daily activities, and more? Please visit https the mortgage foundation.ca. You done know, man.
Shout out my homie Marlon Mortgage doing this thing. Shout him out, man.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first today with AMP TV and D2E. You heard this here first with the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I approve this message. Nation. What? Pop, pop, pop. Ah.
Peace.
Until next time.